In this video, we are going to take a closer look at C programming language, and we try to develop a feeling for C and get to know the if structure better, as well as some specials with the float data type. Starting with this video, I will always put our roadmap for this video on top of the file, so you can always follow up and you always know what we want to cover in this video. So first I will start with our basic document structure again and again. I highly recommend you type this over and over again. For starters, it's very important to know all the keywords covered by a language. Okay, what we are going to do is we will take a closer look at the float data type. I already told you when you have a static value like the 0.5 or something, you have to put an F behind that value. This is because this is a float data type. And there's also a double data type. If we omit the F, C will assume this is a double data type. So we want to tell C that this is not a double data type. The difference is the float is a single precision data type and the double is a double precision data type. So they will cover a different range of values actually. So we want to see what can happen if we do not tell C that implicitly that this is a float. And we will do so by using the if structure. The if structure is a very easy structure for checking a value for a specific type. We will use, or we will check our value 0.5 here inside of the braces. This is a condition, and inside of the first braces the if structure always expects a condition, and the curlies will tell the compiler that inside of here some code will follow that will be executed if the condition is true. So we want to say a equals 0.5 inside of here, and if the condition is not true, we want to say a does not equal to, is not equal to 0.5. Okay, so what we expect is that this condition of course is true, and that the program will print a equals 0.5 on the command line. And this is easy, so we expect no problems here at all. And it's also true, we will not get any problems here. As you can see, a equals 0.5. This is just fine, just what we expected. I will clean that. But if I change this value to, let's say, 2 digits, 0.33, this is a whole other story, because now the compiler will have some problem processing this number, and it will tell us a is not equal to 0.33, because here a conversion will be made by the compiler. This value actually is a double value, and it will be converted to a floating value. So what we are doing in this condition is we are comparing a floating value with a double value, and here the precision changed. If we implicitly tell the compiler we want to make a comparison between two floating point numbers, this will actually be true, because here the compiler made a conversion, but here it will not. So if we tell the compiler this is a floating point number, we will get the result a equals 0.33 as we expected before. So it is a good idea, if you are working with floating point numbers, to make sure the compiler knows about it. This is the first little specialty about floating point numbers, which you have to keep in mind. It's not really a specialty, it's just because we are working with two different kinds of precision here. So you need to keep that in mind. Okay, and one more thing when working with integer numbers. Let me clear up the console first. I want to work with that number now. I want to calculate something. So let's say, well, let's just do this to 6. Let's say we will divide that by 5, and we want the division to be a whole number again. So actually what we expect here is, actually we don't know what we expect here, because we are dividing 6 by 5 and we know that is not a whole number. So we will just try that and we will see what our program will print out for this case. The result is 1. It's just 1, because this is 1.2 usually, but this is an integer number, and C will automatically omit everything behind the whole part of the number. So C just sees the 1, and everything behind the point is not relevant for C anymore, because this is an integer data type. However, what happens if we ask C to print out a floating point number here? Because we know that is an integer and that is also an integer, but maybe C will be smart and make a conversion here for a floating point number. You should always, if you are not very sure what will happen, you should always try it, because the problem here is it will also not work as expected. And if you don't try your code, if you are not very sure about what will happen, or if you are sure but you make the wrong, but you have the wrong thoughts in your mind, it could go terribly wrong. So what's the problem here is it will convert this number automatically. So we should tell C this is actually a float, so it will so the format string will know, okay, this will be some floating value and I will accept this and format it the right way. If we are doing this, we get the correct result. Okay, so what you need to learn about C in this video is you need to be aware of some specials regarding the float data type, but not only the float data type. You also saw some specials about the integer data type and C itself. So you should always be aware of some unexpected behavior when it comes down to data types. So always make sure your code is working the right way and whatever you are doing is correct code regarding to the C standard. If you are a beginner, it will be a little bit difficult, but this will come with time as you get more experience in C programming language. You should know the if structure. I mean, you should know the if structure is followed by some braces with a condition inside, and we have the curlies. They will keep the code that is executed if the condition is true. And we also have an else structure. This one does not have a condition, but it always applies to the condition of the if statement above it. So if this condition is not true, this code will be executed. And you should get a feeling for C. I mean, when to have the braces, when to have the curlies, set the semicolon, or something like that, and you should get a feeling for the printf comment. So when you are watching these videos, you should always try that code. You should try to play around maybe, and yeah, get a little feeling for that language. But we will come to some exercises later, so you can collect that feeling and that know-how, or you can make sure that you understood everything in these videos that will come close to the end of the basics, I think. And until then, you can just follow up all the videos, and later you can check if maybe there is something you didn't understand enough or whatever. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching so far, and yeah, stay with us.